Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. The secretive SNP are up to it again. You may remember that there was the court case that they lost against James Hamilton's report. James Hamilton did the report into the whole of the proceedings of the investigation into Nicola Sturgeon over the claims of abuse and what have you for Alex Salmond. Indeed, the committee found that Sturgeon, had broken ministerial code during that time, and that there was a vote of no confidence, which, thanks to the overwhelming numbers from the SNP and Greens, she managed to survive. So she was guilty, but got away with it. There's been the clamour for that publication to be released, and it had to go to court, and the court took literally 1 second to say, no, it's got to be published. And so far, the SNP have refused to publish it. There's now claims that they're going to try and get them back into court to try and get the SNP forced to do so or be in contempt of court, which would mean that John Swinney himself could actually go to prison. It's one of those wonderful ones where the leader of the party is seen as deliberately he himself in contempt. It is he who goes to jail. But that's for another day once they get that to court. However, there has been a claim through the Freedom of Information Act to try and get the legal advice released. And now the SNP have said, no, and invents various rules as to why. One of the rules they're saying, we can't release the legal advice that we as a government were given by a member of our own government, all at public expense, in case it stops whistleblowers in future. Hang on a minute. What? So you're saying that if you release legal advice, it might stop future whistleblowers coming out? On the other hand, you don't want whistleblowers. What? No, that's not it at all. And I don't believe it. I'm calling it bullshit. It's lies. Now, of course, there are claims now, and there's a few of the opposition parties, Labour and the Tories, want an amendment to the Scotland Act, 1998, to allow parliamentary privilege to be extended to the floor of the House in Holyrood. David Davis stood in Parliament, and he named Liz Lloyd as being complicit in what he described as the fitting up, if you will, of Alex Salmond, and claimed that she was involved in this and that they'd lied, they'd fabricated and all this. And he was quite able to say that on the floor of the House. And I'm quite able to say it now because it's out in public domain. Whether she did or not, of course, it remains to be seen. But she cannot sue him because of parliamentary privilege. And they want that extended to Holyrood so that the people there who know what's going on can stand on the floor and tell the truth without fear of prosecution. It's one of those things which I think, really, I agree with. The SNP are fighting it for obvious reasons. But this whole thing stinks. Why are they so scared of releasing just legal advice? Is it because the legal advice would say, don't do this, and yet they went ahead and did it anyway? They said at the time they'd release legal advice over the gender bill. That's never been released. Why? Well, at the time they said, well, it may alter the court case. They lost the court case. They're still to release it. Well, we know why. Again, it's because they'd be told, don't do this. It won't win. And they did it anyway. And that'd be great expense, great public expense, needlessly and against legal advice. And if you're doing something against legal advice as a First Minister, then I think at that point, that's criminal. And I think that at that point, some people should go to prison. Hey, Mr. Yousaf, twice. But all this juicy knowledge that's contained within these things that they keep trying to cover up and hide will eventually come out, because you can guarantee day one of the next Labour government in 2026, it'll be going, let's have a look at all that information. Oh yes, I think it's fine. Let's just release that into the public domain. And that, of course, then will show the SNP up for what they actually are. They are a crowd, aren't they? No wonder Cherry doesn't want to be with them anymore. Who can blame her? I think they're destined for permanent opposition now. I think their moment has come, their moment has gone, and people are seeing them for what they are. And it's not before time. Anyway, thanks very much. Take care. Goodbye.